everybody, welcome back to the Aperture Assassin channel. I'm your host Liam Douglas, and in this video we're going to be going over the basic settings menu on the Fujifilm GFX 50R. So let's dive right in. Okay, so we're going to dive into the user settings menu. The first item we have under user setting is format, and that of course will allow you to format your memory card. You can designate slot 1 or slot 2 depending on which one you want to format. Then you have date and time. This is, of course, where you set the camera's current date and time. The time difference, you can set it to home, which it would know your home time zone based on when you set up the clock on the camera. And you can set it for a local airport time difference. So if you were, say, I'm on the East Coast, let's say I went out to California, I could set it for the 3-hour time difference out there and just switch to local setting. You have your language settings. You have English, French, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Netherlands, and I think that might be, I don't know what some of these other languages are, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and so on, Turkish, Danish, I think, and Norse. And there's a whole bunch of others. I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go over all of them. Let me set mine back to English. I accidentally chose the wrong language there. There we go. My menu settings. This is where you would enable the ability to set up custom My Menus. You would do it from within here, and then they would show up under the My Menu tab, which we'll cover in the next video. You have the sensor cleaning. You can set it to clean the sensor. You see, I just had it do a quick sensor cleaning right now. Ooh, I hit the wrong button there. Sorry about that. All right, let me get back out of here. Okay. And get back down to our menu. User settings. Okay. You have the battery age, which will show you the age and health of your battery. As you can see, mine's good. The battery's like brand new still. And then you have your reset for all of these custom settings. Next, we have the sound setup. You can set the AF beep volume. I leave mine turned off just because it's annoying, but you have low, medium, and high. I generally don't like the AF beep. I just think it's annoying. You have your self-timer beep volume, and again, low, medium, high, and off. Oops, let me set mine off. That'll just give you the audio warning, let you know it's counting down to taking a self-portrait. You have the operational volume. Again, I like to leave mine off. Shutter volume, you can set to the same, loud, medium, or soft. Shutter sound, you can select from different shutter sounds. You have 1, 2, and 3. I can't demonstrate what they sound like because I don't currently have it set up to do that. And then you have your playback volume. This is for if you're playing back videos that you've captured. All right, so screen setup is the next item. And in here, you can control your EVF brightness. You can set it to auto or manual. And if you set it to manual, of course, you can see you can increase or decrease the brightness, which could come in handy. I generally leave mine set to automatic when I'm out shooting for my project with this camera. You have the EVF color. You can modify the color. The EVF color adjustments, red, whoops. Let's see here. You can see the color spectrum there. You can check actual condition through the viewfinder, or the EVF, of course. You have your LCD brightness. This is for your rear display. LCD color adjustments, LCD color management, same as you had for the EVF. Image display off or on. You can have it on continuous. You can have it on for 1.5 seconds or a half second, or leave it off. This is for people that like to chimp on the back of their screen, which I don't. Auto rotate displays, you can have that set to off or on. Next, we have our button and dial settings. And this is where you can modify the different buttons and dials on the camera to perform different functions. If you don't like the way it's laid out by default, you can modify them here. This one, you can set the focus lever to lock, which is off, push to unlock, and on. Edit Save Quick Menu. This is where you can select custom items to assign to the Quick Menu button. And you can do custom settings, ISO, dynamic range, white balance, film simulation, image quality, image size, noise reduction, highlight tone, shadow tone, color, sharpness, EVF LCD brightness, flash function settings, AF mode, or self timer. I'm just going to leave mine. Whoops. Select custom settings. And in here you have your shadow tone, smooth skin effect, color, sharpness, noise reduction. It's the same list. So that's just a list mode. I'm going to go back. Function settings for the FN button. And you can see the FN button is highlighted there on the top of the camera. You can set it for any one of these different functions, drive, ISO. You can change any of these buttons, basically. That's your exposure compensation, AF on, AF lock, standard AF button, and then you have your, I can't remember what that one is. Oh, it's your histogram, and then your film simulations. Again, I don't mess with any of these. I have the camera already set the way I want it. Command dial setting, which is this dial on the top. You can set it for focus. You can set it for exposure compensation. You can set it for ISO or shutter speed. And again, I already have mine configured the way I want it. Shutter autofocus. You can set it to AFS or AFC, depending on which one you want to use. Shutter AE is AFS / manual focus on or off, and AFC on or off. Shoot without lens. I have this enabled on mine, just like I mentioned in my Canon menu video. If you don't have this turned on, then any lenses that you own that are manual lenses will not allow the camera to take a capture. The shutter won't work. So you want to turn that on. I have it turned on because for my project, I use the Laowa 17mm f4.0D, which is an all manual lens, but it gives me a 13mm field of view. And then shoot without card, you can set that to on or off. I generally like to leave it set to off. That way, if I forget to put the memory card in, I don't snap an image and then go, oh crap, I don't have the image because I forgot to put a card in. This will warn you and won't let you shoot unless there's a card in the camera, which is definitely a good thing in my opinion. All right, then we have our power management settings. Auto power off after 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, or never. I like to leave mine turned off. Shooting standby mode off or on, and the same incremental timers. And then auto power save off or on. Save data setup. This is where you can export and save all of your custom settings, all of your configurations. So frame number, you can set to continuous or renew, whether or not it's going to resequence the image file names. Save original image off or on. Edit file name. This is where you can modify the starting file name for your images, and you can see I have mine modified. You can do that on this camera. Card slot settings for still image, you can set it to sequential, backup, or RAW plus JPEG. This is if you want to have redundancy, like let's say you're shooting a wedding or something like that. Switch slot, sequential. This allows you to just flip the slots when you're doing sequential. Movie file destination, you can choose slot 1 or slot 2 where you want it to have it write your videos to. Depending on your preference. Some people like to save the stills on slot 1 and video on slot 2, so you can do that. Select the specific folder that your stuff will be saved to, whether it's stills or videos, and you can create a new folder, which again, I wouldn't do that on the camera because it's kind of a pain to type out folder names on the camera's limited control dials. And then, of course, you have your copyright information where you can display copyright information. Author's info. Go back. Enter copyright info. And again, I did all of this using my computer linked to the camera. And you can also delete copyright info. There. Next, we have our Bluetooth settings. This is where you can set up your pairing registration. You can see I already have mine paired with my iPhone. You can delete the pairing registration, so you can set up a new phone. You can set it to automatically transfer images via Bluetooth off or on. Auto image transfer off, and smartphone sync settings. This will pull the GPS data from your phone and write it into the EXIF data on your images. Network settings. This allows you to set your wireless settings on the camera. Instax printer connection settings. This allows you to attach the camera to an Instax printer if you want to print the images directly from the camera. You have your PC connection mode. You can set to USB auto, USB tether shooting, USB card reader, USB raw conversion, backup, and restore. General settings. This is where you can set the name of the camera, resize your images for smartphone. You can have your geotagging turned off and on, location info off and on, and Bluetooth settings off and on. Under information, this shows you the MAC address for the wireless and the Bluetooth. And the last item is to reset wireless settings, which I'm not going to do at this time. Okay, so that wraps up the basic setup menu on the Fujifilm GFX 50R. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Also, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when the next video in the series drops. And I will see you next time.